Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, gonna be a Patreon cast. For those of you supporting me out, patreon.com/FalconPaladin for at least $1 a month. I appreciate ya. If you're watching this the week of July the 25th, thank you so much. And if you're watching this in August 2024 or later, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I'm here 5 or 6 times a week with StarCraft 2 content like this, Stats and SHIN. From the ESL, well, not ESL, I think it's an esports championship of the world. That's going to be held in Saudi Arabia. So it's the qualifiers. Top side, it's going to be Stats on Amphion, and the bottom side gonna be SHIN. Now, we like SHIN quite a bit. He was previously known as Ragnarok. It's extractor tricking again to get up to 15 supply. So it looks like a 15 hatch from him. I guess just so he doesn't get pro blocked, but Stats is so far away that it doesn't really matter. Could have got it down normally, but who knows? Who knows if the pro's going to show up or not. So, SHIN playing the odds here, and we'll see what he does here. Now, look, I chose this game specifically because SHIN really struggles in ZVP, as for a Korean Zerg player especially. And there we go, pull and no gas. Intriguingly, because he went for 2 extractor tricks. But I'm curious to see how it is against Stats. Stats isn't quite back to like World Champion, GSL Champion levels here. He's back from the military. He's looking really good, but he's not winning major championships right now, which is, I mean, it's a lot to ask, right? It's a lot to ask somebody to come back from their military service and like immediately pick off where they left off. Although, I don't know, Cyril keeps winning major premier tournaments while he's in the military, so I guess Finnish military is probably a lot different than Korean military, if I had to guess. So, gas popping, gonna saturate that thing with 1 worker. Just for now, just the 1, which means that speed's gonna be late. Which means that, goodness, like, an adept showing up here would be pretty fantastic. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when he's gonna fully saturate that gas, when he's gonna have 100 gas to even start the upgrade. Yeah, chrono boosting that adept. He's like, I see you. I see what's going on here. Probe says, how many lings you got? Oh, there's a couple. Now let's go ahead and maybe try to block this 3rd base location here for Amphion. Maybe throw down a pylon just to be extra annoying. Is SHIN planning on that? He's mining out this wall. Maybe he wants this as a 3rd base instead. All right, man. You do you. You do what you gotta do. Man, if you're not watching the Soup... so it's Afrika. Afrika rebranded itself as Soup, S-O-O-P, a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now. So Laughing Games are still doing live tournaments with players like Sue, like Stats, players like Classic out there too. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a Soup live tournament. So Adept says, this is where your 3rd base is. But anyway, we had this incredible ZVP Best of 7 featuring Classic and Sue out there on the most recent one. It was a ton of fun. I'll put a link to Laughing Games channel out there on Soup Live, and then you can check it out. And it's every couple weeks we do one of these things. So follow me on X to get information as to when the next event is if you're a big StarCraft 2 fan. That's where we will post information about the next Soup Live tournament. So check it out. But yeah, it's this... It ends up being a 4-2 win for Classic. And let me tell you something. Every single one of the 4 wins that Classic had, it was a Resonating Glaive Adept build. That's all it was. It was simply 2 base, get Resonating Glaive Adepts out, get a 3rd base behind it, get a Warp Prism, show up at the Zerg base, kill all their workers, win. So it happens once, and I'm like, all right, Sue, let's get that Roach Warren out a little bit earlier. You know, let's maybe get a couple spores down a little faster. Oh, that Oracle might just be dead. Yeah, it is. 5 drones do go down with the combination of the Adept getting some work done down here too. 6. Woof! That Adept wanted more, but the Adept dies and the Oracle dies. So anyway, so Sue would like get his spores down late. Oracles would show up, kill 10 workers. It's really bad. And then he'd get the Roach Warren down late, and then the Adepts would show up, and like 3 Roaches would be in production. And one of the games, 56 drones died. 2 Resonating Glaive Adepts plus Oracles. It was bonkers. 3rd base getting chomped on here, but a couple Adepts enough to shut that down, no problem. Stats is not worried about that. So that happens once, and then we're like, okay, Sue can figure this out, and then he doesn't. He just simply doesn't. He just simply like, all right, go. I'll lose to Resonating Glaive Adepts 4 times in a row, and it's like, Sue, what's going on with you, man? Are you okay? We need to get you in to see a therapist. Roach Warren coming in from SHIN here. Yeah, it's just another Oracle shows up, by the way. No spores, but Oracle really can't dive on him anywhere for a while. Yeah, it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. So, Sue, really disappointing there, but I've never seen Resonating Glaive at depths look so good. But he's going Roaches every single game. And there's so much Roach right now, both against Protoss and against Terran, from Korean Zergs especially, in 2024. And I'm just, like, I don't know. I'm just not as much of a huge fan of it, I guess. I'm just not a big fan of Roaches in general as a player and as a caster. They're slow. They take bonus damage from everything. Tanks, Marauders, Stalkers, Immortals, Void Rays. There's just these hard counters to Roaches from every single matchup the Zerg is going to face off against. And I guess there's really not one of the Lurkers, right, or amazing against Roaches in ZVZ. But the point is, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's hard for me to be like, hey, you professional Zergs out there, do what I want you to do. I've never even sniffed Grandmaster in my entire life of playing StarCraft 2. But listen to me, I know what's up. Anyway, I guess I'm just a bigger fan. My gosh, this Oracle got 5 kills and 13 hit points. Just a bigger fan of faster comps. Lings, Banes, right? Hydroling, Bane. Obviously, with Infestors, with Vipers, that's what gets wins these days in the current meta. Maybe some Corruptors if your enemy decides to add some Colossus in, right? To deal with Liberators too. Corruptors can be good. Free Probe is nice. But man, this Roach Ravager stuff, it can be really powerful. It can, but there's the time limit on it that I'm not a huge fan of. Whereas Hydroling Bane, Viper, Hydroling Bane, Infestor, it lasts forever. It's a great composition throughout the entirety of the match. So I guess that's part of it too. Ooh, interesting Spire from SHIN. Okay, man. Okay, I see you. I see you recognizing that the enemy doesn't have any Phoenix out and being like, maybe I can sneak some Mutas on this guy. Well, maybe, except, my goodness, it doesn't take that much to throw down a second Stargate and start chrono boosting out Phoenix, and then you have like 4 Phoenix, and suddenly all of the Mutas in the world are kind of countered by 4 Phoenix. But here come the Roaches, and look, like, they're all gonna die. See, but the Lings, though, aha! There we go. Ling's getting beautiful surrounds on these Stalkers, more Stalkers, warping in. Oracle comes in, a couple Stalkers die, but hey, an Oracle shows up and everybody gets blitzed. Okay, 8 Mutas getting fired up. This is what we're talking about here. So, Oracle dies. How many drones have died? 11 drones have died in the first 745. So, not the worst thing, but it's not great either here from SHIN. Can he recover? Oh, just firing up Stargates, and he's getting a fleet beacon. How did he sniff this out? Did he see the Spire?
I'm here.
He didn't. But he just fired up a fleet beacon, and he's making Phoenix here. What did he sniff? What did he smell that told him there are Mutalisks out? Or maybe he was just making Phoenix because. For scouting purposes? I don't know, man. This is weird stuff. So the Mutas are going to fly into the third base. There's shield batteries here. There's High Templar that do have Storm. And the Stalker count is pretty nuts, too. 15 Stalkers are going to... bonk. He's going to do all right against these Mutas. I know they don't do bonus damage to Mutas, but their range is really good, and just the amount of damage is big enough that the Mutas don't like what they're seeing at all. So SHIN actually doing okay economically, right? This is his 5th base popping here at about 850. That's great. The Mutas have a bit of a shelf life right now as an Ion Pulse Crystals is coming in thanks to the Fleet Beacon, as Phoenix are being produced, as the second Stargate is coming in. So, yeah, these Mutas have gotten effectively nothing done. I think they killed an Oracle. But other than that, no probes have died. He's not going deeper into it, which is nice. He's making Hydras, got a Lurker Den, got a Hive coming in too. So, yeah, Hydras. Okay, eating those Storms. Okay, very nice, though. Sniping all those High Templar. That was cool. 2 Mutas have died, but that was a good trade. 4 High Templar getting sniped really sucks. Although maybe those two of them turn into an Archon maybe, so that's a bit of a save. Archons are pretty good in this matchup. It's not a complete waste of units. Good ops positioning, by the way, right here by stats. That is just what I like to see. Creep spread, pushing pretty good here from SHIN. He's getting a 6th base at 940. I like that a lot from him, too. So let's see what this man can do. Can he take down a bit of a diminished stats? It's not that I think Stats is going to be diminished forever. I think he'll be back winning Premier Tournaments sooner than we think. But for now, curious to see where he is. All right, man. Purple lasered Phoenix are here. And they're like, we can hunt overlords. These Mutas don't dare to engage with us now that we have purple laser, especially because we have purple laser. So that's awesome for us. It's really, really great news. Immortals being added into the comp, just in case there are some, lurkers to deal with, which, by the way, there definitely are. Seismic Spine's getting fired up. Not that the Hive is done. And a Mothership's coming in from Stats. Very fun. Top left base coming in. I love this one Muta bringing all the Phoenix back. And then these Mutas are like, aha! Oh, gosh, ow. Okay, so then all the Mutas die. Good stuff, guys. I really don't think you got anything accomplished there. But this top right base of Stats is going to go down. These Lings do not have Adrenal, nor is it being researched. Kill the pylon, and all those guys stop warping in. But also, you're hurting them pretty bad, so they're going to die anyway. Okay, so canceling a warp in is probably not as good as killing them all, right? Phoenix, lift and kill, lift and kill, lift and kill. 5 drones go down. Phoenix trying to be active, getting way more done than the Mutalisks got done when they all died. So, I mean, just in the hands of a Protoss player, Phoenix are way more effective than Mutas are. Ooh, unless they fly over Hydras and several of them go down. In which case, no, that hurts. The 2 remaining Mutas are like, Zealots heading down the right side, I see. Charge finishes, and suddenly, zoom. They're coming right on down. There's nowhere for them to go. I guess they can loop all the way around and get into that base or this base, but this is buying time for the Lurkers to burrow in. So the Zealots decide to go back home. They got scouted. There's no reason to go deeper into there. There's going to be some kind of a counter to handle it anyway. Now the Mutas are dead. So, yeah. 13 Mutas died. I'm not sure they accomplished really much of anything at all. They killed an Oracle. They wiped out 4 High Templar, which is good, but 13 Mutas is a ton of gas. And minerals. 1,300 in particular. So coming up this right side, Protoss Army coming to respond. Hydras keeping the Phoenix away. Lurkers burrow in. All right, shield batteries taking serious hits. Still no Adrenal on these Lings, by the way, but I think, yeah, the sheer damage output on that Nexus should have canceled it. Instead, it's just going to die. That kind of hurts for Stats. He misread that position pretty badly, and I like that SHIN's not sticking around to fight. There's no reason to. Good snipe on the base. Way to slow the Protoss player down. Enjoy the fruits of all of the gas income that you're picking up. That is wonderful stuff. And how is Lurker still here? Maybe kill this? I don't know. SHIN. Uh-oh. Just got a good Lurker position, covering the third base and the natural base a little bit. Engaging. Time Warp goes down. Storm getting blanketed on top of these Hydras and these Lurkers. More Storm available. Immortals and Archons getting big-time hits off on the Lurks. All of the Lurks die. The Hydras decide to hoof it out of there, man. We gotta get... Is this Lurker still alive? No, he gets lifted and killed by Phoenix, because Phoenix are the answer to pretty much everything. Burrow again. Burrow again. Ah, he doesn't even try. He's like, what's the point? Why would we do this? Carriers on the way from Stats. I was wondering if we'd actually see carriers here. We got the Phoenix with the upgrade. We got the Mothership. But the other benefit of the Fleet Beacon is you get the carriers and the Tempests. So, and Flux Veins too for Void Rays, which you don't have any of yet. So, 122 to 120 army supply. The Lurker's not doing as well, I think. Oof. As SHIN hoped that they would. A lot of Hydra Lurker, though. And they do have +3 attack. And no armor upgrades, which is concerning, because the Protoss is at a 3-2 for his ground units. And a +1 shield upgrade to boot, which is great. Zealots forcing to cancel on SHIN's attempt at a bottom right expand. That totally sucks. Hydras. Okay, finally making sure the Phoenix are all dead. That's a nice thing. SHIN trying to expand up this top side. Not going well. Splitting off a few Lings and Hydras to shut down this base. And if you get on top of this in time... Boy, if these were Adrenal Lings, this would be a lot of an easier thing for you, SHIN. You sure are using Lings a lot for not giving them that upgrade. Spine's trying to save this base. Not going well. Recall! Saving the top right base. Man, Recall's a good spell. Zealots. I think running in here would be a great idea, guys. There you go. They run in. This base is dead. These guys get distracted trying to take down some queens who are not microing at all. Plus that Spine Crawler's putting in some work. But yeah, queen down. Lings not saving the day because they are not Adrenal Lings. They have no attack upgrades. They have no armor. These 0-0 Lings? Dude, these are 0-0 non-Adrenal Zerglings. They suck. On the top side, Lurker's getting some work done here, taking down Unimmortal, but now those carriers, the anti-Lurker unit, if ever there was one. Voiders are pretty good too. Yeah, I think this is it. Shin's getting kind of just blasted here. This base died. This base did not, though. This hatch is in a lot of trouble. 32 drones have gone down. So this base dies. This base dies. This base gets canceled. This base is not going to die because the Zealots are getting distracted by Hydras, but they're pretty good against Hydras. So that's not a problem. We're just sending upgraded Zealots all over the place. He's making 14 more Lings. Buddy. Okay, he's got a 1 Carapace upgrade now, but no Adrenal, no attack for these Lings. What do you think you're doing against things like Zealots with 3-3 upgrades and Stalkers with 3-3 upgrades? And he's relying way too much on Zerglings to not give them the help that they need to be as effective as they can be. Good snipe on those Changelings. Excellent stuff. Shin's toast. That's it, man. He is dud. He's at 47 workers. His main base is sort of mined out. His natural base isn't looking good either. These left side bases are dead. This base is getting resaturated, kind of. This base doesn't exist anymore. And this is the saving grace. Like this one base right here is really all that's helping Shin remain as close to stats as he is right now. Absolutely impressively. Like I am just all sorts of ready to call GG here, but Shin's making more Hydras, more Lurkers. And I get it. Like, he's getting upgrades. He's getting +3 missile attack for the Hydras and Lurkers because that's the meat of the army. He doesn't really have the gas to go for anything else right now. No melee attack upgrades, no Adrenal. But look at him. Look at him sending these horribly embarrassing, terrible Lings. I think Stats thinks those are Adrenal Lings with like 3-3 because he's treating them with a lot of respect that he really shouldn't be right now. But seriously, who's going to make this many Zerglings? He's firing up 12 more when they don't have any upgrades at all. Dude, this base is so vulnerable. No cannons at it and just a couple shield batteries. Okay, Lurkers for the ground army. I don't know what it is. Corruptors for the Sky Toss army. Here we go. Another big engagement. Time Warp goes down and everybody falls back. Lets the Zealots to get deep into the natural base here. Lurkers trying to get a bit of flank off here. Corruptors trying to find an angle, but the Archons rebuffing them quite nicely. Stalkers 2, and that's it. GG. Stats gets the win. Zealots are deep in here, killing 10 more workers. And that is just not what our guy Shin had in mind here today. So excellent job by Stats getting the win against Shin. Again, Shin's record against Protoss players falls rather precipitously. The Mutas were confounding. He killed 3 High Templar and an Oracle with 13 Mutas. That is just not going to do at all. Oof. And the Corruptors were a good idea, but obviously Stats had the Archons on the ground with the 3-3 upgrades, and the Stalkers on the ground with the 3-3 upgrades, and the Carriers are doing some work, and there's not even that many Carriers. A lot of it's Zealots, because the Zealots are just like, we'll just run away from where the Lurkers are and have a great time. No Banelings to deal with these guys. No Adrenalings to deal with these guys. What was going to be the answer to the Zealots? Just hope they ran into your Lurker spines and died? I guess that's part of what Shin was trying to do here, but it was not ideal. So despite the income advantage kind of being close to Shin there at some point in the last 5 minutes, just not looking good towards the end. Resources lost at 34,000 and 21,000, which is a massive, massive difference. Yeah, he killed 2 Nexuses and 14 probes, but 64 drones died, and 2 hatcheries, and 35 Lurkers, and 51 Hydras, and it is a tough look. Tough look. This space not actually dying was really big for Stats. Curious about when this thing died. Because there was stuff happening. My goodness. Yeah, so this is right when... So this is happening, right? We're marching up the left side. We kill that base. I guess cancel, kill that base. This base dies too. And the base dies. Shin decides to head up this way. These Hydras, right, are doing a good job. The Lings are terrible. But they do force a cancel. Again, I think Stats is overestimating what these Lings are doing. And then he just goes blah, 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 blah. So this is all blah, 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 blah. Everything dies on the Zerg side, but stuff's dying on the Protoss side as well here. Okay, so yes, that Nexus dies. It's great. And then Storm, Carriers. Time Warp comes up. Immortals just trying to get big chunks of damage off on these Lurkers. All the Hydras are trying to kill a Carrier. They do actually kill a Carrier. But once all the Hydras are gone, all these Lurkers die. And yeah, this is not stopping anytime soon. And these guys get chased away because of the recall up this way, and yeah, that's what happens there. So it's 3 bases dead for SHIN versus 1 base that dies for stats. That's a good trade as far as bases go, if you are a stats fan. And you probably are because you clicked on this video. So nicely done. Yeah, and that's just too much. So GG, way to go stats, taking down SHIN. It's not like the biggest win of all time, but it was impressive. I'm going to give it an impressive rating for sure. There were some questionable decisions on both sides, but that's all right. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be a perfect game, and fun for a Patreon game anyway. So, good stuff. That's going to be it for me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.